Mitecoin's the future. It's not just a meme. To Mitecoin movement, join us and see. It's all about M 2015. We're not here to hoard or to keep it tight. Our community's generous, and that's dynamite. In the world of crypto, where greed can reign, Mitecoin's different, it's not the same. With every transaction, we're chasing a dream. Mitecoin's the future, it's not just a meme. To Mitecoin movement, join us and see.
Hey everybody, welcome to another Saturday night, 9 o'clock, Mitecoin Match'em, Mitecast, whatever you call it. As always, I'm going to start blabbering on a little bit before I get into our fun and games. So if you can hear me fine, everything's coming through okay, give me a shout out in the chat, things like that. But before we get going, just the regular blah, blah, blah. This is not financial advice. We're here for entertainment purposes only. Do not come to me for financial advice in crypto or regular money because I'm not your guy. But what I can promise you is to take up a little bit of your Saturday night, and we are going to jump into some fun games that we do. And since that's all out of the question, I will pull up this and we can get right after it. Because as you know, this is our Solana Showdown. That is what it was a while ago. So I'm going to walk over here and I'm going to update it. And oh my goodness, are you even kidding me? So Cody was basically dead on. And just like that, I have no idea. Oh, are you kidding me right now? So, wow, I got to write that down. That is $2.45, 76. So, yeah, pretty much that's 76 cents off at $2.45 straight up. So, Sammy scores 20 bucks. Yeah, so there's a little bit of stuff we can talk about. Not to mention the fact that this price is going bananas today. Maybe you guys haven't been watching, maybe you have, but when I first checked on, like maybe even this morning, I think I even posted actually, now that I think about it, like nobody was winning, right? It was obviously above Soup Man. It was below Crazy Weenie Lady by over $1. So it was, I don't know, 238 or something, because nobody was winning. I guess we can go back and check Telegram. And then it started growing. And then as always, Sweet Pea's flexing, she's convinced she's got it, and then she like missed Crazy Wiener Lady, and I'm like, did you really look at that? And she was losing, but she was confident. And then like Cody was like completely crushing it, and that's when I stopped. So yeah, it wasn't that long ago, guys. It was 244.41, and Cody was just like basically like, give me 20 bucks. And Crazy Chicken Lady, you got completely blown by this. Is, I don't know. Yeah, it's fun. So now if you were listening or looking on Telegram, I kind of threw out a challenge. I said I hereby declare a 93-4 challenge. And just as a sign of how crazy that challenge was, the reason that, or what that challenge was, is because if you look at that board, Sweet Pea's got a 242 even, and Cody had a 243.86, And as it turns out, and I found this out because I was obviously, I put in numbers as I'm waiting to go. At some point, I realized that if the price at when we checked it was 242.30 or 242.93, that would have been a tie, and Sweet Pea and Cody would have both been 93 cents off. Are you kidding me? Right? 242.93. So my crazy code for this challenge was 93. That was to help me remember it had to be 242.93. And that would have been for both of those to have 93 cents off. And that would have obviously been for $40 getting paid out because I would have had to pay double. I mean, that's absolutely crazy town. But again, that doesn't matter now because that was way back when it was like 242 something. You guys, 245.76. You got crypto is bananas. And congratulations to Sammy. And hopefully this just kind of reminds you guys that it's truly madness, and you don't know what you're gonna get. Gee whiz, 245.76. So, needless to say, as I go over my fancy spreadsheet here, way back again a whole hour ago, when Solana was 243.24. So these numbers sort of mean something, sort of not. Way back then, we already were looking at almost a 21% increase just in Solana. I have no idea. It's got to be, 22 now? Our market cap went from 70,710 last Saturday night to over 87,000. So that's up 23, almost 24%. And that, therefore, our US dollar to Mitecoin goes that same amount. And the reason we get that extra cushion, it wasn't a like super freakishly great week for Mitecoin, but we're in the green by over 2%. So that means when you add the 20 something from Solana and R2, and that's why we're, up over, now 24 for sure. So needless to say, it's been a pretty juicy week in crypto, and Solana and Mitecoin's not getting hurt. So those are all good things. 300,000 Mitecoin, again, that's still the what's needed in a wallet to get in and do this stuff with us. That's actually, I know it's still cheap, but it's up to $6.74. I remember it was, I was hoping it was right. At one point, it was around $4 when it crashed. So that's percentage-wise, we're doing well, and that's going in the right direction. I guess I'll have to evaluate. Back in the glory days, I would put even in that message that greets people in the public room. It says it'll never exceed $40. Well, I don't think it's going to probably get to that. I would have to readjust it to justify that with with getting the numbers that we're trying to get to play our games with us. But 674 is still good. It's not outrageous, I don't think. It's still probably less than a Starbucks coffee, and it never expires. So it has a chance to go up too. Anyway, that's what 300,000 Mitecoin is. And those are the numbers for as far as the group. And then I will slide over to, let's talk about Cody's M2015 for number 50. That is 300,000 from me. We had 8 blessings for almost 2 million more. So he scored upwards of 2 million. And again, way back at, an hour ago, that was almost $50 worth. So I'm assuming it's over 50 now for him that you guys blessed him with. And that is obviously, this is where I'm trying to hold back our dump dude, and I'm doing well. I'm going to definitely do it tonight, but he's definitely whispering in my ear, and I'm going to tell you what he's whispering. You guys can chew on it. And he jumped onto my computer, and he's got me some numbers here. So 8 blessings for Cody. Awesome. And then he says, yeah, but. And I'm like, shut up. And he said, look at these numbers. So I did. So not including tonight, we've got together 73 times. 73 times we've tried to hunt up a winner. Out of those 73, even though we just named him, it used to be rollover, it used to be getting Karen, but now we have a name. Should have done that at the beginning. So now we've got 22 out of those 73 times. Dump dude was like, thanks, bruh. Now he's going to wait. He asked me to not disclose what happens if he does take another one tonight. Yeah, I will announce it then. But the bottom line is there's some changes coming. 22 times out of those 73 times he took it. He would have taken it. So that means we had 51 winners. 31 unique winners. So that means 12 out of those 31 were at least double winners. I will say, I've got the numbers now. I think I might have said it last time when I was just running out of time. Patey is by far, or not by far, because it's a close race, but he is the current Match'em champion. He's got 5 wins, bruh. I will say there are a couple people right behind him with 4, so it's a heated race. Then it goes down 3 and 2 and things like that. But 12 people have got a double win or more. And so then my dump dude guy's like, yeah, so only 8 people would even give old Cody $1? And I'm like, yeah, but it's almost $50. And he's like, yeah, but 8 people? So we're fighting. I'm just telling you, he's raising a ruckus. You guys can kind of chew on that and see where it lands, but he's definitely throwing numbers at me. He must know I'm a numbers guy, and he's making some valid points. So I definitely want to say thank you for everybody that stepped up. I know that Cody's appreciative, and he's I appreciate him a lot. Those of you that might not have been around, but he's just been a big part of Mitecoin, and he's stepped up, and I appreciate it. So I'm happy that we can bless him with that. When I throw into his numbers into this, the current number of Mitecoin that's been sent back through just kind of blessing others is, make sure I get my commas right, almost 380, I'm going to round up, almost 385 million Mitecoin. So at at last hour's price, that was over $8,600, right? Again, I know it's not a lot, but I guarantee you, hopefully it's been a blessing to those people, whether they're holding it and they're just looking at it, whether some of them, have taken it out. We've covered that a little bit on what their options are, and that's always going to be their options. But as a community, that's all we can do is say this is what we've sent back, and I just want to tell you guys I appreciate that as well. So thank you very much. And as we keep going, I'm going to not be as worried. I used to try to. I'm going to transition over so it gets ready. I've been watching some podcasts with respect to our new Mitecoin Mysteries, and if you don't know what that is, you probably should. But anyway, so I've been watching that, and some of those guys are freestyle, so I'm going to freestyle a little bit. So it's obviously Mitecoin Metal. I've got no excuse other than I didn't have a car today. I could have done it maybe Friday, but we're surviving by the skin of our teeth in daycare. So guess what? Oh, see that? That's live updates, bruh. That's our Mitecoin Metal, if I can get it. That's our Mitecoin Metal. We have it all in Solana. That's from the beginning. I think it's not changed since the 3rd update. So somebody can jump on this chat. I think it was it 290? So we're almost up $100, right? And that's pretty awesome. So right now, and here's the deal, I'm just going to tell you what I'm thinking as it was going up, as Solana started going up. If somebody can tell me when that baby's going to drop down, yeah, I would gladly sell out for a profit and then wait for it to dip. Had I done that, you all would have been dumping on me. You guys would have been sick and dump dude on me, and he would have rightfully been throwing junk at me because I would have looked a fool. But that's the nature of the beast. I don't know when it's going to dump. I don't know when Solana's going to go on another run. I mean, I think I just checked the chat. Somebody said, wait, it's up to 246, right? I don't know. You guys tell me. Anyway, it's looking good. That's our Mitecoin Metal, and I don't know. I'm excited because part of that is because I know what Dump Dude has in store. It's going to juice it up a little bit. It's going to make things exciting, and not that I want you guys to lose to him tonight, but he's got some openings. He's got an opening on a Match'em board if he takes it. He's also, I'm just going to say, luckily Sammy stepped up and took care of the Solana Showdown for you guys, because he's made a valid point with that too. Yeah, he found out that if nobody scores the Solana Showdown, I've been rolling the full 20 into the next week. And he looked at me sideways and said, what about me, bruh? And he made a good point. So he's trying to hustle potentially snagging some of a Solana Showdown that doesn't get taken by you guys and redirecting it into a kind of a dumpy spot. So, there's a lot of stuff going on. Problem is, and it's not a problem, I guess, you guys keep winning and you avoid it. If you guys leave money on the table, that's when he swoops in and starts, being a dirty dog. With that said, and I absolutely know that I'm going to probably do some jabbering tonight later on, so I want to make sure we hustle through this. I am going to start typing up the poll as you guys take a gander at that board, and you will notice something. Round 1 vote. I guess I can't. Oh boy, somebody says the internet's. Oh, you guys. Hopefully it's on your end. No offense. So anyway, here's round 1 vote. Should be live now. So here's the deal. You guys, I'm going to talk about this board as you guys look at it. Obviously, the battle with Dump Dude could be over after round 2 because, yeah, Hearts, you guys are all over it. That's always been the case I think it's since our first match. For some reason, Hearts just draws you guys in. Maybe you're all sentimental. But if you guys go red after first round, obviously you sway it. Clubs and spades are looking tougher. So there's the deal. It's Hearts. You guys are going to guarantee the win. Put Dump Dude to the curb for this week. If it's black after the first round, it's going to get uglier. So cast your vote. As always, if you can't see it, hopefully you've been here long enough. Maybe if you can't see it, jump on and put your vote in the chat. If not, I'm going to end it. And 10 votes. My goodness, that was close. Number 2 is the winner, 60%. So we are going to take this and we're going to flip this card over. And we're going to find out if, this is going to be big team the road here, guys. Red, it's looking good for the Fellowship. Black, Dump Dude takes a big lead. Winning card tonight is... Oh, that escalated quickly. Because, as you see, red is right there. So, this actually, it's not over yet. I think you guys, last Saturday night, there was 17, and you got the win. So, there's no reason you can't defeat this. Although, as you will see in a second, it's not great. Because we have to do that. We got to put the blackboard up and transfer that over, and you're going to see a whole lot of ugly. Yeah, that's no fun. Dump Dude is smiling right now. We're going to do round, if I can type, round 2 vote, and 1 and 2, and ship it. Should be live now. Though, obviously, I think if I remember I checked, it gets worse as it goes over. So Club has 1, 2, 3, 4 Dump Dude spots. And spades 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, it's ugly all over. It's up to you guys. So we got Chicken Girl, Willie, and Ray, and Kim, and Patty. I don't know if we got any devils on here. Willie's got a couple. Okay, so we got some people representing. Sweet Pea's got a couple. It's not over. It's not looking great, but it's not over. So cast your vote and get them in. And like I said, I'm not going to try to talk too long because I have a feeling I'm going to babble a little bit later and don't want to keep you up too late. Oh, so okay, you guys were like, okay, number 2 messing with you last time. Number 1, 7-3. 7-3, so number 1 with 70%. And we're going to find out if it's clubs or spades. The winning card tonight is obviously going to be a club. Hey, that's better, right? And actually, I think that's been spades forever, so clubs is new maybe. Because spades over there. So as always, we will flip this up, put it here, flip it down, mix them all up, slide one under, slide another under. And let me go find vote 3. It's low clubs and high clubs and the club board. And you should be seeing that. That's not, that's, when you look at it like that, it's not horrible. So, round 3 vote. And we have a 1 and we have a 2. And start. Okay, it's live. It looks like everybody's rocking and rolling as far as seeing the poll come up. So yeah, all you gotta do is cast your vote now. We gotta find out if it's gonna be a high club or a low club. As far as dump dudes go, it's he's got 2 spots in each. Technically, I think there's so 4 versus 2 versus 5 versus 2. So you guys gotta decide who's gonna win, who's gonna lose. No, don't do that to me, folks. I see a 50%. We've had 10 votes, so I need somebody to jump on that's just gonna come onto the stream now. I'm gonna stall and take a drink and have somebody vote us off this tie. Come on. Okay. Oh, I'm gonna totally end it now. Yeah, I did it. We had 11 votes. Thank you. I don't know who that was. I don't know how to tell who it was, but somebody just flipped us off 50% and made number 1 the winner with 54% of the votes. They broke the tie. I'm guessing 6-5. So, number 1 with 54%. That's not the right one. This one is the one, if I can get under there. All right. Winning card tonight is either going to be obviously high or low. And the winning card tonight is obviously low. That means I've got to circle low and show all of you that the high side is over there. So, one more round. I know. You guys could do this for me. And we are going to slide those under there and get to round 4 because we have let me get to the clubs. Low club. Sorry, I'm looking. Oh, that's because I'm in the finals. What a ding dong. Okay, make sure that's good and go over. Right? That should look good. Low clubs. Now we got to find out if it's odd or even. And we will start our poll. Round 4 vote. And obviously, as always, you get to select between 2 choices. 1 or 2. Votes live. We've got, 1 on each side. But obviously, okay, I just announced that Patey is the current Match'em champ with 5. And he's like, I'm not done yet, bruh. Willie has had a recent win. Kim would be a first-time winner. Ray, I think she did I know she won she won the Solana Showdown. I know that. Chicken Girl has a couple wins. So I think if I'm going to be rooting for anybody, I'm going to have to go for Kim. I think she's on, yes. So she would get her 75,000 bonus. And we're going to end the poll. And then I'm going to remind her how to get some more. So number 2 is the winning vote, and that means it's with 63%. And we have to find out whether it's odd or even. If even is the card, then we've got first-time winner in the running against Willie and Dump Dude. If not, it's the odds. Winning card tonight is odd. Oh, poop in the pants. Because, unfortunately, even is over there. Okay. That's all right. You guys still have some issues to get. So I have to get the odd, low clubs. That's these guys, the ace, the 3, the 5, and the 7. I will actually pull that up now. Bear with me. Clubs, low, even, low, odd clubs. And there's the board. So I'm going to get these out of the way. So here's your 4 upside down. As I'm sticking under, remember, even though it does go across, how you see that, I have no idea what is going under which. So there's a card under the 2. There's a card under the 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4. Okay, there we go. So I was going to actually double check. Low clubs. Yeah, Chicken Girl is the ace. Ray is the 3. Dump Dude's the 5. And Patey is the 7. All right. And let's do this vote. final vote. And we're looking at a 1, we're looking at a 2, we're looking at a 3, and we're looking at a 4. And I would say it's live. So cast your vote. I'm hoping I think everyone's entering just fine. Yeah, you can, here's the thing. Some of these people, they literally turn the corner or, flip the switch on. I will say, part of the argument I'm making against Dump Dude is that we have, obviously some of our previous winners, kind of not even necessarily cash out and leave, but yeah, they're gone. They're not part of the fellowship anymore. But yeah, we've had somebody that I think won on their first night, and in the first month they won, and I'm not kidding you, 3 out of the 4 matchups. Like, it was bananas. It seemed like every game they were winning. So it kind of comes and goes, unless of course you're Patey, and then it never leaves you. So even though I see a 50%, this doesn't have to be a tie. I'm gonna end it, and we'll see. And no, it's not. So 10 votes. Number 4, you guys like number 4 all day. So there's number 4, and no love, not even a little, not one crumb of love for number 1. That's 0%. So that makes it real easy to show this biggest loser. As always, this is the time where you do not want, I repeat, do not want to see your card. Chicken Girl, you don't want to see an ace. Ray, 3's no good. Patey, if you're on, I'm not sure. Excuse me, you don't want to see a 7. If we want the streak to continue, we should all be looking for a 5. First card eliminated because nobody liked it, nobody voted for it, is... Oh, you guys, are you kidding me right now? That was easy. Bye, Dump Dude. You suck. And I guess you have to wait for your big announcement. And number 2 is the next lowest with 2%. So we're just going to keep working on down before we show the biggest winner, or the winner. So now, unfortunately, this isn't, I guess here's the good thing. This isn't the biggest loser. So one of you is going to be, I don't know, I'll just say it, the second biggest loser. So here we go. Chicken Girl, Ray, and Patey. The second biggest loser tonight, going home with just a hug from Dump Dude, is Ray. I'm sorry to say that, yeah, you got nothing. You got nothing. So that means that it is Patey versus Chicken Girl. Number 4 is the winning card. And if this is an ace, Chicken Girl wins it. If this is a 7, Patey wins his 6th matchup, which would be ridiculous. Crazy lucky. The winning card tonight is... I'm nervous. Chicken Girl. Oh, Chicken Girl, I hope you're maybe recording. Patey, I'm sorry your luck was so close, but your 7 was there. Chicken Girl wins it with an ace. Write that down. And I forgot to tell everybody. I reminded myself to tell Kim. And because when she got eliminated, I completely lost track of it. But if you are watching the stream when you win, if you're not watching, you can still obviously get paid. If you are watching, I give you an extra 75,000 Mitecoin. And if you video your live response, has to be live, and give it to me so I can make some content with it, I send you another 150,000, baby. So there's actually nice potential there. I think it's like 525 total if if you got everything cooking. So congratulations to Chicken Girl and on a nice win. And now I don't know. I'm gonna obviously we have our stream share, and then that kind of ties into maybe a little bit of the crazy week that we've had. And I'll just start with the stream share and see where it goes. I've actually got 2 pages of notes. Some of it's all mumbled jumbled. I tried to organize it, and we'll see how it comes out, right? My wife just might hit me on the shoulder and tell me to cut it off. We've got a signal where if she does the cut motion, that means I'm babbling and nobody knows what I'm talking about. So here goes. The stream share question was about, I just met up with somebody that I hadn't seen in a couple years, and we were talking what, old toots talk about, grandkids and stuff like that. And she had come from a family with a lot of girls, a lot of daughters, and she told me about something that her dad had said that he didn't mind having daughters. The good thing about daughters is they bring their children, their families home, whereas the sons, they go to their wives' family. And I don't know. I mean, I knew that it was like, wow. I immediately asked her, and again, I thought afterwards, I'm like, maybe she thinks I'm a complete dork, because that could be maybe that's a very common thing. I don't know. First time I'd really heard it like that. And I was kind of shocked at I don't know, just like gut punch sort of. And just weird why, but it was just like, whoa. And so I asked her, like, man, is your dad still alive? I was like, I want to find out where he heard that, stuff like that. So anyway, stuff started going through my brain, and that's why I just threw it out to you all. And then I realized, as I was thinking about, like, why, once I kind of figured out, like, why maybe it was a gut punch, that's why I added that note. Maybe that confused people, and I think it's probably going to lead into my version or what I want to share about it. Because I guess I realized, and maybe I'll just talk to the dads, and maybe especially to I don't know, maybe I'm the oldest tooth. There might be a couple old toots like me, but I don't know how many of you guys have adult kids. Some of you I know. I guess I should say dads that are in here, so maybe it's a little different. I guess I'll have to defer to you moms and see if you can make it fit. But as a dad, it's very clear from a dad's perspective that there's a difference between daughters and sons, right? As far as my response, I'm not saying it's right. I'm just giving you my perspective. But absolutely, I look at them differently. There's just the daughters and the girls are to be protected, and not that the sons aren't. It's just hard to describe. And I guess I'm just going to defer to if you're a dad with children, you'll know that. I'm thinking, unless I'm a complete weirdo. And I'm going to also assume maybe that the moms have a similar deal. Maybe I'm not talking about loving them differently or like more or less. I'm just saying, I don't know whether it's a combination of what your expectations are for them, what your responsibilities specifically to them. I mean, it's the whole ball of wax, as they say. So I'm guessing. Maybe I could be curious. I'll ask my wife afterwards, or maybe she'll say, you're just a freak. You're the only one that thinks that way. And maybe I'll throw it out to all of you moms as well. If any of that resonates with you, or you're literally looking at, scratching your head saying, this guy's lost his mind. The reason that I bring that up is because when she said that, I realized that, like, some of you guys maybe don't know, like most of you guys do. Who am I kidding, right? We're not super viral. I've got kids that wrestled, and all of my boys were very successful. I often tell people that from a youth level, even though Tanner didn't have the high school accomplishments, I think he might have been a better youth wrestler. It just had some injuries and stuff. But anyway, and even my daughters wrestled, even though that was to me cake or topping. What is it? Cherry on the cake. But that's just part of that son deal where you're hoping that. And this is definitely for my daughters as well. But it's just an overwhelming feeling that you hope that your children do better than you, right? At least for me, if that happens, even by a pickle or a nickel, I'm game. I'm good. And that's whether that be in their faith walk and the things that they have as far as the things of this world, and not having a bunch of needs that go unmet, the whole ball of wax, right? Their happiness, their relationships, everything. I hope that my children end up and have more than I did or do. And the weird part about that is, again, maybe I'm just getting old, but at least I realized when she said that, I don't know why it just struck me so much that I am so blessed. Obviously, I was gushing, I think last weekend when we had the Fall Fest here, and the weekend before we were with the other daughter and grandkids down in Tennessee. Unbelievably blessed. So it's not even a knock against that. It's not a knock at all. But I guess I'm going to say this, and this is where I hoped to kind of resonate it or apply it to people that either A, don't have kids, or B, don't have spouses, or whatever that. However that question maybe seemed to be focused on, like, what about sons and daughters? What struck me, and guess what came to my mind was, I have had an ideal, like, storybook ending of like when you have kids and you have sons, you have daughters, whatever those differences are. I had a like storybook ending of like raising them up and forming this family thing that is, it's, again, hard to describe. It's just, and maybe all of you maybe have your own version of that, but for me, I just realized that the way it turned out, it just isn't what that ideally was. And it struck me that, and the reason I wanted to put it to other things is that doesn't have to be children. It can be, I mean, it can be, and it doesn't even have to be. When Andrew and I used to help in youth group, and a lot of times when people are maybe trying to get somebody to open up to the Bible, open up to God, they will use the fact that God is the best father. He is a good father, things like that. The assumption is that the person you're talking to, that they know, like they have in their brain what that is. And here's the twist. The reality is their earthly situation could be a level 7 poop in the pants, and they would say, if that's God, I don't want none of that. And so what I defer to is, and at least when I would talk to have those conversations, I would try to have them lean into, fair enough. So then however you envision, right? Whatever your envisionment is of a perfect father, a perfect mom, a perfect spouse, and none of us perfect, right? But we always, like, if all of those things on your list gets checked, what is that? That's what I try to like get everybody back to. And I guess in a quick, really short amount of time when she said that statement, it just struck me. Then, as a pile-on, literally we had grappling Thursday, and I had an old wrestling family come, they'd like to beat up on the old toot, and we've been friends forever now. But anyway, one of the sons is kind of a big step. He bought his first house. So the family crew, it's a very tight family, very big family, and he's moving out. And the other oldest son is looking. And what he said to me was, I kind of asked, is it going to be, kind of mess up the dynamic? And he told me, as far as him and his family, he says, oh, well, I wouldn't even look more than 20 minutes away. And I was like, dang, that's all. I mean, I to me, that's awesome. I think that's really cool. I think Willie or Austin has shared how tight his family, how close his family is. And I think I've kind of been, told him I'm a bit jelly about that, or I don't know whether he realizes what a blessing that is. And so I guess when she said that, I just realized that, yeah, that's just not, I had something like this. I had other intentions. And then that leads us to the part where I might talk a little bit longer. Maybe I'm going off the reservation on my notes here, because that's kind of where I realize is that, I might say I want that, but how intentional was I to like create that environment to where when the kids leave, they're like, dude, I'm not going farther than 20 minutes, right? Because of whatever we've intentionally created or developed, or whatever you want to say. Now, the reality is, and this is all I would say, and I want to be cautious because I don't know all the answers, and obviously I'm just a little farther down the road as far as Old Tootville with adult kids. Something happens when your child meets the person that they kind of commit their lives to, right? And so obviously, even no matter, you may have the best intentions, but sometimes you get you get outranked, so to speak. So that's definitely a possibility. But then I realized that, I guess for some reason the word intention kept coming in my head, right? Was it intentional? Was I intentional? And then I'm gonna bring it up a little bit. I think it's important, and I don't want to. I was very upset. Quite frankly, I was very upset, but I didn't know how to answer it. And Andrew and I've talked a lot about it. But some of you, most of everybody has heard about the killing of Charlie Kirk. And that whole horrible situation is, 2 young daughters and his wife was there in the stands. And I was absolutely shocked that there was just this unbelievable amount of like celebratory, like congratulations that he was executed in front of his children. And Andrew and I were talking, and I can't comprehend that. Not even just that I maybe agree with some of his theology, his beliefs. This doesn't even matter to me. And then it struck me like I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe there's somebody in our fellowship, even though we have a wide variety of we don't all believe the same thing, whether it be culturally or religiously, for heaven's sakes, or the whole spectrum, quite frankly. We just don't believe the same thing. But I don't think there's somebody in our fellowship that would be like celebrating somebody that is not physically, I don't know, it really did, like, what's going on here. And I have been kind of on, for the last couple of years, I've been kind of trying to write down my own beliefs and kind of develop where I think what it says, what it means. And where I've landed recently is way back in Genesis, shocker. And it involves the idea of us humans are separate than animals, being in the image or as the image of the Creator. And the way I view that is there are some fundamental ways or I guess characteristics or inklings or whatever you want to call that the Creator has placed as his imagers, like fundamental. Like, we might not agree on anything else, but to me, agreeing that celebrating the killing of anybody, really, quite frankly, right? And we can discuss how far down the road you want to go with that, maybe in the weeds or something like that. But I can promise you that the list is like, just because of somebody's saying something on the internet, as far as like a political opinion, I got to think that level of humanness is got to be placed as part of the image of what we were created in. And so with that, because I have that, that's just the way I lean. That's why I'm persuaded where I believe right now. I kind of was trying to reconcile like how to handle that. Now, I will say this is not. I hope you guys know my heart. I hope you know me if you don't well enough. But so we have people in our circle, in our family, extended family, that have made similar comments based on some political decisions or political results, things like that. It doesn't even matter the exact details, but the thrust of it is, if you support that, then you are basically dead to me, right? Now, I don't think, I would have to think they don't mean literally I would celebrate you being killed with a gun, but I don't know. But the tone is definitely such as that. And that's so unfortunate. And so all I will say is this, that, and maybe I'll try to end it. As soon as Andrew and I talked about it, and I was salty. I mean, I don't know what the word is. It was upsetting to me that mindset would be out there, that literally somebody would be celebrating the death of somebody, the execution of somebody, and then I have a little note written, and it says, it might be on my other paper. Yeah, it is. It says, but then I remembered, or I considered my life before I was a follower of Christ, and I look at the things I did and said and thought, and never, I mean, hard stop. I don't ever, ever could conceive of like celebrating the death of somebody like that. That's not, unfortunate, I guess. And not to say that I couldn't have if I was raised differently or whatever, but I can't say I've experienced that, but I can absolutely tell you that I can identify in my own life, the Steve now would look back and say, how do you reconcile that with being an imager of the Creator? Now, make no mistake, I'm not saying that when I would recognize that I'm in right relationship with the Creator. I'm just saying that is like foundational. Again, not to go too far down and take you to church on a Saturday night. My own personal opinion is, as somebody responds to that type of thing, then they are absolutely drawn and shown more, leading to restoration. I believe that. And at any time, you may choose not to continue to engage. But fundamentally, that's maybe nobody else thinks about this. Maybe I'm a total freak. But fundamentally, I guess I think maybe should we chew on as a people, as humans, like what are those things that, short of somebody believing in no, like literally we're no different than the animal kingdom, and if you are bigger and stronger than me, you have every right to take over my den, my house, whatever you want to call it, right? But assuming that that's not the case, and if it is, then we just have to have this discussion earlier, right? Let's figure out where we land on common ground on that issue. But that aside, surely there's common ground to say this is a bare minimum of living as a human, being part of what we call this crazy earth that entails being created in the image of a creator, right? So I don't know. It's kind of crazy. It's like I said, I obviously agree with the unfortunate with the beliefs. I haven't done a deep dive. There's surely something I disagree with him on, but I just can't fathom a situation where any group of people thinks that's, dude, amen, man. Off all of them that think that. I just can't comprehend it, and that, I take it down to that level. And so when I think of that and I think of myself, I have to remind myself of where I was, and knowing that I was in a place where I wasn't restored, and I was making similar decisions that somebody very much could say, bruh, do you think that is in the imager of the creator that, I don't know. So anyway, that's where I'm at. With that said, I just wanted to share that with you. And we got some prayer. I did one of the prayer requests. We had somebody type in, Sonya has some swelling in her hand and wrist. And I will tell you, I'm just going to kind of work. And I wrote down, obviously, some things. Obviously I didn't get caught up in this big talk and forget. And then I also what came to mind is I'm going to pray for is, obviously we want to pray, or I'm going to pray that if it's a local issue, right, with the hand, something there that the doctors are going to have great wisdom and know what that is. What came to mind is it could be a symptom of somewhere else. Something else is showing up as swelling in her hands. And not that the doctors don't know this, but I'm just going to tell you how my weird brain thinks. And then the last thing that I wrote was, obviously being an imager is on my brain lately because I'm developing some of the things I believe, and then as I've shared about the Charlie Kirk thing. But then at the end of that, I wrote, ultimately, I hope that regardless of what the doctors tell her, regardless of whether those hands and wrists are relieved of that swelling or not, I hope that she will be, through it all, an imager of God, right? So meaning that we obviously, and I 100% believe that God is the great physician, and that he can intercede and fix broken bodies that have got something wrong. I just do. But the difference is, I think, for me, that is never a necessity, because us being and us desiring to be his imagers isn't conditional upon, it shouldn't be conditional upon if I have whatever I'm looking for. Obviously we hurt for sure, but the encouragement, I hope, is that in spite of that, that you will have that strength to image well. Right. So anyway, I'm going to pray for the wrist and the hand. I hope that you would join me. And it's worth saying, and maybe you guys, in fact, I know probably, because we have some more listeners here. I shared it with somebody not too long ago, and maybe I should give praise more than I have given. But anyway, way back, I don't know, over a year ago now, Andrea was down in Tennessee with her dad, who was sick, and I believe it was that trip that he ended up passing. And I was getting ready. I was up here holding down the fort and getting ready for a big stream. And I was messing with the speakers beforehand earlier that day, and something was up. I called her, I messaged her, I'm like, hey, we're going to have to go online early. I can't get my speakers to work. And through that, I realized that and again, if some of you guys may not know this, but I don't know, for 20 some years, I've not really had any hearing in my right ear. I'm just going to get used to it. And the reason that I was freaking out is for the first time in, I don't know, 20 years, I could hear out of my right ear. And so I couldn't figure out where the sound was coming from because it was literally, it was so foreign. So again, for the first time in 20 years, I talked to her with my phone to my right ear. It was such a weird feeling, right? And I remember thinking afterwards, I think I was almost in shock that, I don't know, I've never experienced something like that. So it was weird. And unfortunately, the next day at the wrestling tournament, I mean, when I woke up, it was not so bad. And then by the time I got to the tournament, now I'm back underwater and stuff. But anyway, the reason I say that is I absolutely think, for whatever reason, that my hearing isn't working. We have a designer that kind of designed the system, bruh. So I'm going to go before him right now, asking for relief for Sonia's wrist and hand. And I'm just going to pray for our group. I want to pray for just the everything going on, and hopefully that I can be a good imager, and those of you that are following Christ, that you would be good imagers even in difficult times. And my hope is that when people are anxious and they're nervous about what's going on, and if we are being a good imager, we're going to have a peace and we're going to have a calm that they shouldn't have, because we have something that they don't have in those storms. So what's going on right now is horrible. But if you're struggling to find like comfort and any positive, I'm going to totally ask you to reach out, because there's absolutely reason to not be that way. So anyway, I'm going to pray us out. All right. Father God, I come before you, and I just thank you that we can come before you and bring our needs as children to a perfect Father. And I do that for Sonia right now. I just pray for her swollen hands and wrist. And I don't know what's involved. I don't know how long she's been dealing with it, but I just pray that you would intercede. First and foremost, I do just pray for a healing touch, that she might come on next Saturday, or come in the Telegram group and just be declaring praises to you, and that it would be a witness to anybody that doesn't think that you are more than able. I just pray that would be something that you might use to draw people into your image, and to recognize that that's exactly the way you created them. Father God, I just pray for great wisdom. If it's something else going on in her body, I pray the doctors that would know would meet with her, and that you would give them wisdom and bring to memory something that they read or learned sometime before. And if that is even not the case, I just pray that you would strengthen her and be next to her, help her to feel your presence, and that help her to lean into being your imager in every area, in all areas of her life, and that you would just be enough in everything that she needs. And I pray that same prayer for all of us, Lord. I pray that we would lean into you, and that we would recognize those things that image you well, and those things that don't, and that we would just lean towards you and take a step towards you, and continue to respond to all that you show us. I pray that you would help our relationships. I pray that you would bring forgiveness and peace and restoration, patience, and anything, Lord, that's needed for just everything and anything, Lord, that can impact the way we interact with one another. I pray that you would send healing where it's needed, between husbands and wives, and children and parents, and coworkers and siblings, friends. Father God, I pray for physical healings that are needed, that didn't get shared, hurting, chronic illness, Lord, that is people are struggling with, physical pain, whether it be just brokenness in muscles and joints and the parts of our bodies that get old. I just pray that you would bring restoration to those as well. And I just pray, Lord, that you would be with this country and be with our nation. I pray that you would help those that know you to be the perfect imagers, and to be the light in the darkness, and wherever that is and whatever that looks like. I pray that we would not sacrifice your will and your way, but Lord God, that we would do it with your humility and your love and your understanding, and that we would be intentional with it, Lord God. I just pray that you would help us to be intentional and lean into whatever we believe. And I pray that you would meet us exactly where we're at. just thank you for this time. Thank you for this crazy crypto group. And I just thank you for everybody that is part of it, Lord. Just praise you and thank you. In the name of Jesus, I pray. Amen. Okay, guys. Didn't mean to be a Debbie Downer, but anyway, I appreciate it. As always, congratulations to our winners. Dump Dude gets packing, and we'll meet next Saturday night. See ya. Bye.